Okay, sorry. Do that now. Okay, fine. I'll be better. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. If you're in the Maury Jacobs Community Room and you'd like to come on out, we are going to start our program. Art Walkers, welcome to August 1st, Friday Art Walk. It's so wonderful to see you all here. Thank you so much for joining us. What a beautiful evening. My name is Leora Svanko. I'm the Executive Director of Lane Arts Council. I'm here to welcome you. I'm co-hosting tonight the Art Walk. And it is quite an incredible evening, and it's a very special art walk, as I'm sure you know. I'm the Executive Director of Lane Arts Council, and we work to cultivate strong and creative arts communities. Basically, we want to connect you to the arts, and we want to encourage your participation to the arts, make sure people have access to the arts, because the arts are essential to our lives, as you all know, I'm sure. And really the Art Walk is a compilation, it's an ecosystem that we all get to participate in. And you are all essential to that. And so I really want to acknowledge the artists and all of the arts organizations, the galleries and the businesses, and all the arts leaders in our community that help continue this work and really help make the arts thrive in our community. So thank you all so much. And you may not consider yourself an artist, you may not consider yourself an arts leader, I would imagine, but you are still an essential part of the process. Your participation as an arts lover and as an art patron is essential. You know, the way that you observe the piece of art and the conversations you have with people and the questions that you ask of artists, and when you decide to take a piece home that you can't live without, and that sits in your living room and you continue to have conversations with people about it, it continues to impact your life. So please know that your role is essential to the arts community. You're part of the ecosystem. Your participation is essential, and really the impact is infinite. So thank you for being part of our arts community. We need you, and we so appreciate all of you. So thank you. Lane Arts Council coordinates the first Friday Art Walk year-round, and this is a very special Art Walk. And first, I would love to thank our sponsors that make the Art Walk happen. So please help me thank Banner Bank, and Mike Murphy's right over here for sponsoring August Art Walk. Thanks, Mike. And of course, many thanks to the City of Eugene Cultural Services Division for really sponsoring and partnering not only this Art Walk, but an incredible week of this the inaugural Visual Arts Festival. So please help me thank the City of Eugene. This week is pretty incredible. That kicked off last week when the city brought back the Mayor's Art Show. We are so glad that the Mayor's Art Show is back in our community. We have this incredible contemporary art installations throughout downtown. We have Karen Clark's Biennial. We have Salon de Refusé. And tonight on the Art Walk, we're going to be touring all of these sites, and we're going to be hearing from the artists directly. So it is truly a special art walk. So I really want to acknowledge Isaac Marquez for his vision and his team for putting on this incredible event and allowing us to participate and to interact with the artists and have an exceptional evening tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Leora. Okay, thanks for coming out tonight, everybody. You know, the loss of the Mayor's Art Show was a loss for a lot of us. I've seen this specific show as such a celebratory point for this community, and so we're really proud to bring it back. Also, I think there's a real value statement when you link the arts to the heart of civics and the heart of government. And so the fact that the mayor's name is in the art show, I think really bodes well for the arts and our city overall. We have two folks who helped put the show on. That's an understatement. We have two folks here who made this show possible. Shannon Santiago is our exhibit designer. Yes, thank you, Shannon. Shannon did everything from write the calls to artists, to spec this room for a new hanging system, to facilitate the jury, to hanging the entire show and doing a really beautiful job of it. We also have Mila Oliveira. Mila was one of the jurors. Thank you, Mila. And when we brought back the show, we did so with some intention, and I want to read that to you tonight. The show at a glance. Championing the visual arts and celebrating the artists that live, work, and play in Eugene, this juried exhibition recognizes the accomplishments of artists who enrich our community through the creation of visual art. The show seeks to cultivate diversity, equity, and access to the visual arts and artists. Enjoy the works of nearly 50 local artists through August 25th. We hope to see you not just tonight, but maybe you can grab a friend, bring them back here, and see the show while it's up. To start off with, Shannon, I want to ask you a couple questions. First off, how many entries did you have this year for the Mayor's Art Show?
We had over 200 entries.
Over 200?
Yes.
And of 200, how many were ultimately selected?
We selected 48.
48 out of 200. I have a lot of friends who are artists, and we've started to recognize that the mark of success for an artist is actually the stack of rejections they get. Because if they're not getting rejected, that means they're not putting themselves out there. So more artists were rejected than were accepted into this show. Is there anything in building the show that really stood out for you as a body of work from the community for this show?
Well, what was interesting and it was exciting and also challenging was the diversity of the work that came in, which is how we sort of built our juror panel was art professionals and artists that have experience in a variety of mediums. So that is what stuck out for me, and also the quality and the intention in the work was beautiful.
Okay, so there's quality, intention, and diversity. Could you give an example of what that diversity looked like? What was the most out there piece that was submitted?
Well, there were many, but I think what was different this year, we had a lot more, we had metal included, so adornment in a different way than we're used to seeing on the body. Dia Wang was chosen by the jurors, and her piece stood out for me as being something really exciting and different that came to the show this year.
Very good. Okay, thank you. And Mila, can I ask you a few questions about the jury's process? Yeah? Okay. So as a jury, you were 4 artists coming to the table with different specialties, with much different backgrounds, very diverse backgrounds. Was it like a brawl to see who got their piece in, or how did the jury work through their process?
No, that was actually a delight, and I considered a strength. It was really wonderful to be able to share and create a common ground and a common language through which we could all put in our different perspectives and expertise to work. But that also helped us create a common language through which we could look at all of these works that were so varied in style and medium and background, and so it was really a wonderful exercise.
Awesome. I had a chance to see the show before it was hung, when the artworks were still on the ground being sorted out, and from that moment it was just absolutely stunning. I think the jury did a fabulous job of selecting works to make the show really, really one of the best shows it could be. If you had advice for any jury moving forward, what would it be?
Ooh, it's always a hot potato to get to do to give people advice, or I think that I would trust that people that choose to be taking on this task are people that are really interested in seeing the different stories. So really to step out and try to exercise. It's almost like an anthropological work in some ways, that you really have to stretch your own perceptions and get into the perspective of where something is coming from, where an idea or a story is coming from. So really, I feel like we tried a lot to step away from even some assumptions about aesthetic values or what art should look like, to really get beyond that and move like who is trying to say what and how. And so focusing on the story and focusing on the people and behind those stories.
Okay. Well, I'm a parent, and they say as a parent you're never supposed to say you have a favorite child, right? But I'm going to ask you, do you have a favorite piece?
Well, we expressed our voice with our shows and what. But there's definitely another piece that touched me. Well, there are a lot of pieces in there that are really stunning and spoke to me in different ways. There is one that I don't even remember the title of it now, but it's an illustration. It's a pastel illustration of a cloud, and that is illuminated by fire. And the statement really like just tells the story of this cloud and how this cloud is created. And it's a small picture, but really well rendered, and so I was personally touched by the scale and the delicacy through which the artist experienced that place.
Just one.
Okay. We have time for one question. Does anybody have a question for Mila or Shannon? Questions from the audience? Nothing? Okay then. I want to thank you two and the entire jury for doing an excellent job and helping us bring back this show. Everybody please give them a round of applause.
And some of the artists are here, so please take some time to wander through the gallery, talk to the artists. The second stop of the tour will begin right here at 6 o'clock, so come back and join us here at 6. Enjoy.
I really liked the initiative. We had some ideas, but I was just stand aside. And,
Absolutely welcome it if you have ideas.
well, it wasn't specifically art.
Well, it'd be more than art. It's actually the whole ecosystem and strengthening that so we can become a destination for the arts.
Awesome.
Really good.
Awesome. You know what I like about the idea is that it uses the artwork as the
All right, Art Walking here with the guided tour. We're here at stop number 2. We didn't have to walk very far, did we? Kind of nice. We're going to be here for a little while. We want to thank again our sponsors of the Art Walk, Banner Bank and City of Eugene Cultural Services Division. Thank you so much for sponsoring this incredible Art Walk. And stop number 2, we have a variety of artists, and we are going to be showcasing Bridge Exhibitions.
All right. Bridge Exhibitions is a new endeavor, and what I've really appreciated about this is the role that contemporary art can play in our community, and the most powerful examples of artists making connections between us and the world we live in are surrounding you right now. I want to thank the Bridge curator, Lillian Almeida. It was her vision and her work who brought this to life. Thank you, Lillian. Yeah. And I want to take for a second and let you know what the intention of Bridge is before we move on to talk about the projects. The City of Eugene's Bridge Exhibitions creates opportunities for innovative contemporary art projects, pieces, and experiences that explore, express, or reflect the social, personal, political, or ecological issues of our times. And watching Lillian bring Bridge to life throughout these last few months and seeing how well these pieces were executed, I have to say they nailed that statement. Yes, thank you. Lillian, can we ask you a couple of questions? Okay, in the curation of this, in bringing your vision to the table and executing it, is there a moment that stood out for you? Like one moment that maybe you could share with us from behind the scenes?
So many moments of how the artwork has brought its really momentary relevance to us. You just put something out there like a basket or a vision, and then you let it speak is the concept, and that has happened. One of the things that I want to say about this piece that resonates, story from this piece we just saw down below is the first night this performance piece by Fahad Brahm and Arshan Mockley began. There was a woman sitting down here by me with her little girl, and the little girl says, "So Mom, what is this thing we're seeing?" And the mom says, "Well," as a mom would, "what do you think it is?" And the little girl says, "Well, I know it's about how people can't really talk to each other, but what's going on?" And that just blew me away, because she got it. It's like how we have our own stories, and we all have to live within those. We do have to live within those. And then how we try to communicate. So that's just one thing that illustrates how this type of artwork allows people a moment to see things.
Very good. And for us, collectively, this is a moment of growing up in Eugene, and this is a moment where Lillian is helping artists work at the highest possible conceptual level, and that just really amplifies the role art can play. So there are 5 pieces, right, that you have essentially birthed with artists to make this happen. Okay, one of them, the first one is Intersecting Bodies, which was down below in the plaza by Farhad Baram and Shannon Mockley. This is Shannon here.
This was sponsored by Art City Eugene, so thank you so much, Art City, for sponsoring and all that you do in the community. Charlie Swing and her team do an incredible job working with local artists, building various projects. So they were the primary sponsors and volunteers and coordinators of this exhibition. Right, thank you so much, Shannon and Intersecting Bodies in Art City. So the next piece, if you guys want to kind of just turn around or walk around and check out this piece right in front of us. Metanoia Catalyst. Incredible piece here. We have our artists Kate Ali and Leo Wilson with Gray Space Project Artists Collective. So feel free to walk around, look at it, wander through while we interview Kate and Leah. So could you start off just telling us about this piece?
Sure. So we started with the inspiration back in April when we started talking about doing work for this site. Sorry about that. Thank you. To really respond to the site in a way, we knew it was going to be August, and it was hard not to think about the kind of fires that we experienced last summer. And the kind of changes that we've experienced as a country as a whole, and climate change, and not only that, but also locally, right? This is right next to the Jacobs, which has been a place of sort of death and rebirth this last year. And so out of all of that, we really started focusing on that idea of regeneration from fire.
Now, are you guys familiar with Gray Space? Yeah, some of you, yeah. It's a artist collective that they create all their works in a cube, correct? So could you tell us a little bit about Gray Space and why you chose this shape and size and those dimensions for your work?
That's actually better. I don't want to get that one. So this was a response with a group of artists, Leah and myself included, where we were looking for a space to be able to really speak about place and locale as much about the artwork itself. The 6x6x6 scale was in response to the human scale, so that it became something that was approachable, familiar, but was large enough to really stand on its own and to be sort of recognized in the environment.
I have a question for Leah. So Leah, you were as much of a fixture out here as the art piece, and I felt at times that you were kind of holding vigil over the piece. What was that experience like with the public? Because you were tending to your piece almost constantly.
I was tending to the piece almost constantly, because one of the things that we did was we started planting plants with just a couple of plants. We started with 2 plants that were some of the first plants that would come up in a forest after a fire, and then every single day I would come back to plant more plants and more plants and more plants. And so people would come and they would speak to me almost, well, definitely every single time that I was out here. And I got the most interesting cross-section of people in this town, I think, that I would have ever gotten, and the most diverse group of people that I have ever received asking me about artwork, and that was just an amazing experience. So I felt really heartened that there were so many people that didn't know anything about art that had the courage to come up and ask me what I was doing, and that really engaged with the piece, spent some time with it, really worked with it, and then I got a lot of hugs for doing it. A lot of people asked me for hugs, and that was really cool too. So I felt like doing this project, the Bridge Exhibitions project, was really special to give so many people the opportunity to experience what art can be, and that it is accessible to them also.
awesome. It's truly participatory, these pieces. And speaking of that, who has questions for Leah and Kate? Lillian.
I don't have a question. I have a really quick story, and it's a big thank you to the amazing people in Eugene, as just saying how amazing you are. This piece and the others that have been exposed to the public for over a week, very minimal security all night long. There's lights on in it, zero vandalism, zero people taking it apart. Everyone's been here, and indeed they left tiny, beautiful offerings in front of it for Kate and Leah and his piece. And also today the bees came. I visited it and the bees are on the flowers, and I took pictures for you. They found it. This deinstalls tomorrow morning. If you can see it after dark tonight, you will be blown away. Now questions.
Does Grayspace have a website?
Yes, it does. Grayspaceproject.com, and Leah does an amazing job keeping us up to date.
I'm really hesitant to say this, but if you're interested in seeing more of our pieces, we do have a newsletter and you can sign up for it. I've just never written the newsletter, so if you sign up, it encouraged me to do so.
That's good. We do have a question, Laura. So the question is, what are the little dangly wax things here? Could you enlighten us, please? What do they symbolize? That was the question. Yep.
Okay, so just a little bit of background knowledge. I've been doing work at the H.J. Andrews Experimental Forest, which is over by Blue River, for about 6 years. And that is a group of ecologists that are doing very, very, very long-term research over there. And I'm lucky to have a bunch of advisors that are kind of there to answer whatever questions that I have. And so knowing that I wanted to be working with plants after a fire, I posed that question, what should I be looking at to some of the ecologists? And I was told snowbrush. So I started looking into snowbrush, which is a really unassuming bush. It's not the most impressive looking thing, but what really captivated me about this plant is that it will come up after fire, and the roots, as it grows, team up with a bacteria, and they grow these nitrogen-fixing nodules. And so those shapes come from nitrogen-fixing nodules that help prepare the soil for the regrowth of the forest.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Yes. What are we going to talk about next, Laura?
Okay, so if you all want to come closer and turn around, and you're going to look at this piece that is on the Holt Center. This piece, 3:30 a.m. with Jun Wei, is the artist, and the sponsoring organization is Imagination International, a business here locally that sells Copic markers and other arts products and supports the arts in our community. So take a look at this piece, and we'd love to hear from Jun Wei. Can you please tell us about this piece?
Oh, hi everybody. I made this series of performance still images at the first month of when I came to Eugene, when I came to U of O. It's September 2017. And the first month I came here, I didn't have any friends. I don't know where I should go. I don't know what will happen for the upcoming years at UO. Actually, I had nothing to do. I just went randomly walking around. However, one day when I bought some groceries at Safeway, I just ran into this shopping cart at the parking lot of Safeway. I didn't realize anything. However, at that night, I saw homeless people pushing a shopping cart. Seems like he was looking for something, and at that moment I think, oh, we are the same. We are looking for something. We don't have home. Actually, I don't know that much about homeless people, but at some level, yeah, we can feel something. And so I put on the traditional Chinese red belly cover, and because it's originally designed for newborn baby in China. At that moment, I really want to went back home, stay with my family, stay with my friends, and yeah, I just play with the shopping cart like play a game with my life here. I hope someday I can find my goal, I can find my future, I can make more friends here.
Thank you, Jinwei.
Thank you.
You know, Jinwei, I think you've been in Eugene for about a year. Is that right?
10 months.
10 months? I have to thank you because most of the people here have seen this icon of a performing arts venue for decades. And never have we considered putting artwork, just true artwork, on the outside of it. And you've really opened our eyes to what's possible with our own community space. So thank you.
Thank you.
We have time for a question for Jinwei. Anybody have a question they'd like to ask? Oh, we have some offers. We have a lot of friends, Jinwei. We're your family.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add that in working with Jinwei on this piece, that from the very beginning, before we even knew where the images were going, he very sincerely said, I want to work with you and I want to give something to this community. I want to give a gift to you guys. And that was before we knew where it would go. That was before we knew what it would be. That was before we knew anything we would do with it. And then we were able to do that. And before we had given anything to him.
Thank you. Yes. I hope you are very proud, Jinwei.
Thank you so much. How beautiful and incredible. What a contribution. So we're going to move on to our fourth bridge exhibition piece, and where you can all walk together. Let's all walk together down the street. We'll cross the street and we'll just head midway to the cascading waterfall. We'll see Jesslyn's piece, Movement. So we'll head over there and talk to Jesslyn. This is cool. I haven't been on a list before like this.
Coming up, Jesslyn.
All right, our artist made it just in time. Good job, Jesslyn. Love it. All right, so here we are. Of course, you can't miss this beautiful piece, Movement, by Jesslyn Brinkerhoff. This piece is sponsored by Lane Arts Council and Maud Kearns Arts Center, who provided so many volunteers and so much people power to make this happen. There were also so many generous businesses in our community that donated space or materials to make this incredible piece happen. I want to thank Steve, he's right here from Tacobor. Thank you so much, Tacobor and Steve, for providing space for Jesslyn to create this piece. I also want to thank ESNA, Sign and Awning Company, Next Step Recycling, Jerry's Home Improvement, University of Oregon Product Design Department, artist and professional art handler Daryl Evans, and then many volunteers from Mod Kearns, especially Drew and Angela. You know who you are.
Well, who didn't help with this piece in YouTube?
So this is Jesslyn Brinkerhoff, an incredible artist, and she created this piece. So can you please tell us what this piece is about?
Thank you. Fresh off the i5. This piece is called Movements. This is a metaphor for, as an Oregonian, meaning so many people moving to Oregon from different parts of the nation as well as the world, moving here for the Northwest's opportunities, natural resources such as water, culture, affordability. So this parallels the movement of water and the movements of these people, and also the industries that they work in. The materials that I've worked with from industry are sign vinyl and banner canvas, and you'll notice there are these green structured pieces that are woven, and these are lumber strapping from the Northwest lumber industry that we sourced. So this will be out for a month, at least a month. We're hoping for more, so come check it out as it moves in different weather conditions and different lighting. And thanks again for your support at Top of War. Cheers.
Hey, look, there's Selena right now. I mean, what an incredible way to showcase art. Now, Jesselyn works with Lane Arts Council in school. She's a teaching artist. She creates murals. She does lots of different types of art. She's also a performing artist, musician. But Jesselyn, this is new for you, right? This is the first time you've done work of this caliber, of this type of work, 3D public art piece. What was that like for you?
It was about me relying on some of the strengths that I had in working large in murals and in color, but also I had to rely on a huge community of people as we had listed off, and there's so many more. So there have been lots of work parties, cutting and assembling and being long hours, but I'm really the most grateful for the journey that we had working with volunteers for the city, getting a permit for this piece, and so lots of little challenges along the way, and so many minds to help us problem solve how to move forward. I definitely could not have done it without them.
All right, we have time for a question from the audience. Does anyone have a question for Jesselyn? Yeah. Is this the scale that you originally perceived, or did it change over time?
This is the scale as I visited the site first and then designed according to the site. I didn't want it to flow all the way to the ground so that we could walk in it, but there are definitely city limits and codes to work with, so it hangs high above our heads. Yeah.
Pretty incredible. Thank you so much, Jesselyn Brinkerhoff, for your incredible work and all that you do in our community.
On the level of the ground, so we're going to step down from this lift and interview Valentina Gonzalez.
So her piece is down this alleyway. We are the ships, you are the river, part 1 of 3. And there's Valentina Gonzalez worked on this, as well as Josh Sands and Dane Caldall. And this is sponsored by the Whitaker Community Art Team, Wildcraft Cider Works, and Bring Recycle. Just a couple comments. One is that that's one of my favorite things about this show because it's the only time that I give awards. I figured I've done about 200 exhibits in the last 16 years. And this is the only show where I actually asked community businesses like Blunt Graphics stepped up to do a $500 grand prize award, and Oregon Art Supply, the Duck Store, the Whitaker Printmakers, the Jordan Schnitzer Museum, they're all participating. And so we get to hand checks to artists, which is great. And I added some big fancy ribbons today. It's fun to put those up in the gallery. So that's a lot of fun. And one thing that we do, those 8 artists are going to be invited back next August. I do a group show. So basically we award the artists and then we say, okay, now work really hard for a year and then we're going to bring more of your work into the gallery. So that's, hopefully a great sort of extra prize, and it's nice for us to follow up the show that way. So that's next August for us. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Karen or Craig about the Eugene Biennial at the Karen Clark Gallery?
Great gallery.
Yeah, they're just so appreciative of the show and of all that you both do. So thank you so much for your contribution to the community and being part of this Visual Arts Festival. Fantastic show. Thanks for letting us up on the scissor lift. It was a life dream of Craig's. I know, it's really cool. It's on the bucket list. Yeah, we got to figure that part out. So please go inside the gallery. I know there's lots of people moving in and out. You have to go in and check out that show. It's pretty incredible. And then we will reconvene back here at 7 o'clock because then we will talk about the Eugene 20 by 21 mural project. And we will talk about 2 pieces. Matt Small's piece is here and Heiko's piece right there on the parkade. So enjoy, mill around, look at the pieces, and we'll see you back here at 7 p.m. Thanks, everyone.
I'm just really taken by how much actual
I really wasn't fishing for a car. I was being sincere. This next song has been touted as Frank Sinatra's favorite ballad, and it was recommended to us by a lady that was a great lover of jazz. Her name is Ruthie, and this song is called "Here's That Rainy Day." Maybe I shouldn't say those leftover dreams, but here's that rainy day. Here's that rainy day they told me about, and I laughed at the thought that it might turn out that way. Where is that worn out wish that I threw aside after it brought my love so near? Funny how love became a cold rainy day, and funny that rainy day is here. minute, take you out with another Gershwin tune, and you'll recognize it immediately. We've just done a little bit of a waltzy vibe to it instead of its more traditional slow ballad.